At this point, we would like to begin our recognition of Ann Capeci for her 30 years of service on the Board of Education. I have some remarks to begin with. I have been fortunate enough to know Mrs. Capeci as both a student and a colleague. Throughout high school, I attended board meetings regularly as a student liaison. I remember observing Mrs. Capeci with respect and awe at how she handled herself, very often as the only woman. Even during challenging times, she was always well-prepared, spoke intelligently, and carried herself with grace. She left a lasting impression on me as a student. She was always supportive and encouraging, even as a somewhat precocious teenager who often told the board what they needed to do better. Fast forward roughly 20 years, I joined Ann as a colleague on the board. She not only welcomed me as a fellow board member, but she continued to encourage and inspire me. She has been an important mentor and sounding board. I have always been able to count on her to guide me without telling me what to do. Ann cares deeply, not only about her students, she would have loved this tonight, but about everyone. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with her where she hasn't asked about my family. As kind as Ann is, she is also a strong woman who commands respect and is never to be underestimated. I think people often forget that school board members are volunteers. Over the last 3 decades, Mrs. Capeci hasn't just been on the board. She has had a visible presence at countless events, all while raising a family and having a career of her own. Mrs. Capeci has devoted 30 years to this school district, not because she had to or got anything in return, but because of her dedication to our students and always wanting the very best for everyone. I know that she is watching this tonight, and we all want to recognize her in person as soon as she's able to be here. But until then, congratulations, Mrs. Capeci, on 30 years of service, and thank you for all that you have done for me and our school district. And Mr. Russo has some proclamations that we've received from Mrs. Capeci that he's going to share some of.
Yeah, the first one is on behalf of the Portchester Rye Union Free School District, Westchester Putnam Board Association, is honored to recognize Ann Capeci, whose support of public education, commitment to educational excellence, and dedicated leadership has enhanced the quality of education for all the students in the Portchester Rye Union Free School District for 30 years. Signed May 25th, 2023. Congratulations. We also have a proclamation by the New York State Assembly, a citation honoring Ann Capeci, given by our State Assemblyman, Stephen Otis. And finally, a proclamation from the New York State Senate, given by Senator Shelley B. Mayer. Proclamation honoring Ann Capeci for exemplary service on this 25th day of May, 2023. Congratulations.
Board, would anyone like to add anything?
I just want to say, I think Ms. Onofrio really summed it up well, especially the fact that Mrs. Capeci has volunteered so many hours, so many years to Portchester and its students, and I don't want to take 30 years to talk, but I just want to say thank you from all of us here. Your presence has been made known throughout the district, and we wish you well, Ann, and we really wish you were here tonight as well. Thank you.
Mr. Ford?
Thank you. You know, I've lived here in Portchester for 18 years now, and for 30 of those years, Ann has been sitting up here at the dais representing our community. And many of us know her, you know, outside of the school, working in the as the town court clerk as well. And she has been such a vibrant and happy person to all of our kids and our families over the years. I don't know how she did it for 30 years. I've been up here for 1 year and just completing my first term of 1 year, and here we are, 30 years of recognition. So Ann, we love you, we miss you, we wish you all the best in your retirement from the school board, and we look forward to seeing you here soon. So thank you so much.
So I wouldn't be me if I didn't crack a little joke here, a dad joke, and say, I did the math earlier today, Mrs. Capeci, and you've served 46% of my entire lifespan, and being elected for the first time shortly, I left the school district, and so what an incredible accomplishment. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your 3 decades of service on the Board of Education and your contribution to the many students of our district over that time. Congratulations, and thank you so much.
Dr. Enriquez?
Yes, I want to wholeheartedly agree with everything that's been shared about Ms. Capeci and reiterate what I said the other night at the Gentle Giants dinner, which is that for me, Ms. Capeci has really been such a champion of Portchester, for the entire Portchester community and all of our students. And tonight, we honor her, and we need to definitely let her know that her legacy here will absolutely live on forever. And on behalf of the board, we have a small token of appreciation in honor of her 30 years of service to Ann Capeci, honoring your dedication to the students of Portchester. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I do have a statement that Ann sent me that she asked me to share with everyone on her behalf. Dear fellow board members, teachers and administrators, and students and families of Portchester, I wish I could be there with you in person to celebrate my last board meeting and reflect on how fortunate I have been to represent our community for the past 30 years. I came to Portchester 64 years ago and have loved this town from the day I arrived. My husband was a graduate of Portchester High School, class of 1945, and we raised our 4 children who all thrived in the Portchester school system. They have wonderful memories from their different experiences. I decided to run for this board years later when they were all in successful careers, and I wanted to give back to the education system that served them so well. Nothing has been more important to me or has made me prouder than the accomplishments we have been able to achieve as a board over the past 30 years. I wanted to acknowledge all of the board members I have served with, especially my current colleagues, President Chris Onofrio, Vice President Lou Russo, George Ford, and Sharon Burke. All of the boards over the years have made it a priority to fight for equal activities and benefits for all students, especially girls, who were not offered as many opportunities as boys in those early days. Sports in particular was an enormous area of importance, and fighting for the rights of girls' sports through Title IX was a true highlight. We also worked hard to ensure equality in our educational services and the extracurricular programs. We made sure all of the important initiatives we offered were available to all of our students across all of the schools so that every child in our district was allowed to thrive. Also, I am proud of the many bonds we were able to secure over the years, including the $24 million bond in 1999, which put new classrooms in every school and a new roof on the high school, maintaining its architectural integrity with the beautiful new cupola. I want to send a special thank you to the many hundreds of teachers, administrators, and support staff I have worked with closely over these many years. The teachers of Portchester are some of the most kind, generous, and committed individuals I have ever met, going above and beyond their roles in the classroom to help support our children through some of the hardest and most difficult times. every year I continue to be amazed at their unsolicited, incredible acts of kindness. I also want to give a special shout out to Kathy Maggi, who has done so much for me and does so much for the entire board. I am thrilled that I am leaving the district in the exceptional hands of Dr. Enriquez as the superintendent. She is exactly the leader that our community needs to position our district and prepare our students for the highest levels of achievement in the future. Thank you, Aurelia, and I wish you the greatest success in the coming years. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the past 30 years, and I hope everyone has a wonderful summer. From Ann Capeci.